Hi, everyone. Welcome to Art and Talk. I'm Leslie Sue, the host for Art and Talk. Thank you so much for being with us today. Today, we have a guest who is a poet and a writer, and she's going to be helping us celebrate Valentine's Day through her poetry. And we're going to be exploring divine romantic relationships. And we'll be diving, of course, into her journey as a poet and as a writer as well. And she'll be reading another poem for us. And if you're new to Art and Talk is all about meeting artists and being inspired. We embrace the traditional arts and the spiritual arts to bring you diverse and quality artist interviews to be inspired by. And we hope you've been enjoying our artist interviews and drawing inspiration from them. We like to open our hearts, open our mind to seeing and perceiving in new ways as we dive into each of our guest artists' mind and heart as well. All right, so again, thank you so much for being with us. And let's go ahead and get started and meet our guest today and helping to celebrate Valentine's Day right around the corner. Please welcome Goddess Emajah. Hi, Goddess Emajah, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's awesome to have you here. Okay, so we're going to be exploring divine romantic love. And I think before we get into that, Goddess Emajah, in your bio, you were saying that you refer to yourself as goddess because it's important for you to embrace and embody your divine feminine. And I feel like that probably presides over a lot of your essence and who you are, and of course, into your art and poetry and writing. Can you kind of guide us and help us tap into that whole perspective that you hold in relationship to that?
Yes, so that is a beautiful question because what defines goddess to me could be a different definition for you. Goddess is just when I call myself goddess because that is just, me telling myself to hold myself to my highest standard, and when you are standing in your confidence, you're standing in the knowing that you are being you. You're not really caring what people think. You're just trying to make change and spread love. I feel like that is the energy of the source, and that is what I try to, I would say, push out when it comes to me. You know what I'm saying? I want myself and others to know, I love myself. I love myself because I hold myself up high, you know what I'm saying? And I just be me. And whatever that involves me being, that's beautiful. So, yes.
Mhm.
Did
Yeah,
I kind of answer your question?
yeah, absolutely. And that is it's so beautiful. So it's really a way of you honoring yourself, and it's sort of an act of self-love as well.
Yes, and that's why I say it changes for different people. You know what I'm saying? Because people have their women or men, they have their own definitions of how they are being their best self or in their highest element. So whichever I feel like would involve you or just anybody else to feel as though like you are just on top of the world. You know what I'm saying? Just to feel like you are in your best self, then that is your God energy. That is your goddess energy for you.
Mhm. That is beautiful. I love that. Um, how long have you been calling yourself Goddess Emajah? I mean, did you have a strong female role models in your life, or was how did that play out? How did that even like come into your awareness? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to stand for that, and I'm also going to call myself that.
Well, I'll have to shout out the women in my life, my older sisters, my mother, my grandmother, and my aunt Shirley, who passed away. I have to note them as the woman that the women that helped me more so be inside my divine power because they were all strong women, and they were all women who just fought for what they believed in. And but I would say the person who really helped me realize, that I'm a goddess, it would be my dad. Yeah, my dad, he honestly introduced to me unconditional divine love. And the conversations that we would have all the time, he would just constantly remind me of myself. And he would just, my dad is so over dramatic and so loud, but he just is that everywhere and he owns that. You know what I'm saying? And so me just watching him just grow and then him having those conversations with me, reminding me of who I am since I was younger, since I was a baby in my mother's womb. I grew up and now it's like that is just really stuck to me. It's really, I feel like forming. You know what I'm saying? The things that he was saying and the women that I watched, I'm being my own. And honestly, that's what got me to it.
What a beautiful upbringing. I'm so glad you shared that. So your dad really had that influential force in you to help you realize your own divinity, your own divine power, as you were saying, along with other strong female role models that were have played out as well in your family life.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I know this ties into accountability, and I know in your bio you would mention that as part of your purposeful beingness for being here is for others to also be elevated to their accountability, and in that sense, we can all rise up. Can you share what that's about as well before we tap into some of your poetry?
Of course. Um, so getting on this journey, I realized the main thing with growth within self was me being able to tell myself, hey, look, you got to change something if you want to see different. You know, I feel like with the problems that we face today, a lot of people aren't trying to look for problems within self. They believe that we are all perfect. And instead they shift blame onto others. You know what I'm saying? And they try to go ahead and make other people be the cause of something that they're into. And I can say, when you find a problem and then you say, okay, this is how I need to solve it, this is how I have brought a problem, it's easier for you to create a solution because you are in control of your actions. You aren't in control of nobody else's actions. So if you are taking control of what you have done and what you could do better to manipulate the situation you're in to better circumstances, then you have to find accountability within yourself. You have to be strong enough in order to say, okay, I played this part in it, so I can adjust it by moving different, thinking different, or maybe eating a different food or whatever it is for you. So I feel like my purpose and with that is helping people realize, like, when you see in the mirror, that is all you. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere you want to go, look at yourself and say, look, this is what I want to do, okay? And this is how we are going to have to get there, and just shift all the conversations to self and figure out a way for self to find an answer and to grow and to prosper in whatever way or shape form that is. And that's the way where all of us could come together. Because if we all holding ourselves accountable, if we all just doing whatever we got to do to be better, then inevitably everybody around us are going to be doing things that's going to make them do better.
Mhm. That is so beautiful and very deep and profound. And I love Goddess Emajah, you're saying that shift the conversation to self and
Mm-hmm.
really removing all sense of external blame in all across the board and really bringing that, as you were saying, that mirror reflection to the self. And if there's things in it that you don't like, it's like you take that accountability and look within for the answers and what you need to change, open the mind, open the heart, all the different things that you were saying to make the changes. And what a beautiful way to also represent empowerment as well, because you're taking accountability whatever's going on in your life. And that's such a beautiful way of looking at yourself and evolving on a personal level. And then, as you said, collectively also doing that, then we rise up together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's tap into your journey as a poet and writer?
Mm-hmm. Oh, great. I'll say, oh, great. Because I get so nervous because writing poetry is something that is passion, is really passionate for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel like when I take the time and when I really write down stuff that I've been through, you know, and that I express it in a way that just sounds beautiful. It's just like really, I done created this bag and made a whole flower or whatever. I don't know, but I turned something and or nothing into something, with my poetry. So I started with poetry when I was younger, when I was about, and I would say when I was in middle school. I've always written poetry and stuff like that. And even my teacher, she realized that, I had a gift and I was really quiet. So it was actually this one time where she invited me to this poetry group. And when I went there, I was just so amazed of how famous poetry is. Like I just thought that I'd just be writing it down in a book. It really didn't mean anything, and then she takes me to this company at Villanova, and it was filled up with people, kids just like me, who were expressing their poetry and it was winning some money. So but with the main thing with that is like I did, and when I went there and I seen and I sat down, it was like it wasn't really. I didn't want to win the money. That wasn't like. Of course, I want money, but in middle school, I wasn't really thinking about it. Um, so I was just looking at them kids on that stage, like they got balls. Like wow, like they are out here saying what it is that they wrote in front of all of us. You know what I'm saying? Even through their fear, they got up there, and I felt like that was a kickstart. I've always wanted to face my fears, and I feel like the ways that I could do that is through writing my poetry, because people, they, I feel like people resonate when you express something with emotion, you know, and when you express with emotion, 9 times out of 10, they went through the same thing. And not only is it, therapeutic for me to express it, but also people get a reminder that they're not alone, you know? So I've always honestly been writing poetry. I haven't really went live with it until the summertime, last summer, actually. I don't know why. Just something was like, you know what, just go ahead and perform an open mic. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And it was a horrible, beautiful experience. When I first went up there, I had my boyfriend, he was the only person that came with me. And we pulled up. It was super small, not like how I thought. I don't know where I thought I was going to be, but it just wasn't at all what I pictured. And I just see a whole bunch of people outside, and then from the outside you could see the windows, and there was people just crowded, and I was like, this is a place I'm about to speak at. Like I was just so nervous. All these chills just came to me. I was just like, I don't know if I could do this. So I wanted to leave, but I'm like, you know what, just go pull over in this parking spot really quick. Let me figure out, let me think for a second, let me gather myself. And I called a few people, and I called somebody one time searching for that inspiration. But instead of getting the inspiration, I got, don't do it. Like they said, if you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. Like, you could do it another time. Woo. And I felt like that was what I needed to hear, because deep down, I didn't want to just leave. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want them to tell me, go ahead and stop. I wanted them to give me a reason to keep going. And I wanted to kind of fight it like, no, I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? But they said, don't do it. And I didn't even have to fight. I just knew, okay, I got to do this. You know what I'm saying? Because in my heart, that's what mattered. My fear was just a mind thing. You know what I'm saying? Something I was portraying onto myself. But my heart was like, go out there, stand tall, and tell the people what it is that you have to say. So after that, I got up in there and I blew it away. I feel like I did awesome. You know what I'm saying? For my first time. So that was a wonderful, beautiful experience for me. Ever since then, I just been more vocal about my poetry. I've been expressing it on social media, searching for more open mics to go to, and I have been getting interviews. So and this is all from doors that has just opened for me after I just became more vocal about my poetry. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm just more into gathering my confidence up and expressing my poetry.
What a beautiful journey, just starting from like sort of a natural interest and kind of like skill in poetry from the onset, being resonating with it enough to want to dive into it, and then your teacher that really helped to open your mind and help you realize, as you saw other students, as you were saying, sharing, and then you also realized that if they're doing it, you could do it, and you love how they expressed their fears through poetry, and then you knew that you wanted to always confront your fears, and that poetry would also be kind of like a healing component as well, and a way to express
Yes.
fears, heal them, and then it's a win-win because the viewer, the listener always gains as well. And I love that story of your first experience, Goddess Emajah. I'm so glad that you shared that, because it has so many like different twists and turns. And the final result is that you did conquer fear, and you realize it was just in your mind. So you kind of saw, okay, this is a little bit based on illusion, but it was real in the sense that you were experiencing that in the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yet you listened to your heart, and the people who had said to you, well, don't do it if you're not comfortable, or this and that, you respected that, you honored that, but you took it a step further and really looked within yourself, and as you said, in your heart, and you were like, okay, that just made me stronger, and I'm going to do it. And how beautiful is that, to really step up to the plate? So beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Because when I was in that moment, I don't think it was too beautiful, because I was just having so many panic attacks, the fears of public speaking. They say that's one of the top fears in society, people being afraid to speak in front of a crowd. And, it was many other things on top of that. I just felt like it was and that's where I love to fight for accountability, because everything that happens in our mind just thinks. It doesn't know right from wrong, it just thinks. So our mind creates these illusions, as you say, that kind of protects us, that we think is protecting us from anything, but it's honestly just stopping us from going farther. So we have to go past our mind and just really embrace what we feeling and to go after it. Because if you just listen to your mind and not pay attention to anything of how you feel, I created millions of reasons for me to just turn around and leave. I had to follow that gut and say, maybe not, try not leaving. It's easy to just leave. How about you try to face it?
And I think that viewers that are watching this, I think this will, give them some inspiration and a little bit more fuel, for those that maybe haven't stepped up yet, in whatever art form, that they're in, who know that they have a gift, know that they have a message, they're devoted to their art, and they want to bring it out, but it's a lot of fear involved, like vocalizing about it, sharing, and I know other artists have come on, and it's a very, very common type of feeling that one, if they so choose, can break through it. So I love all this territory that you're going in, and how you kind of really overcome your own challenges, and what deep insight you're providing.
Yes, thank you. I really appreciate that. And, also to the viewers, I want to say, when you overcome one barrier, that don't mean that you in the clear, so that doesn't mean that everything is just going to fall in line. But what you can at least say is that I did it, and when you say that I did it, you get that rush of emotions like, I did it. And then it makes you keep going, but you have to keep the enthusiasm up I might face some stuff that I don't want to do. I might get scared. You know what I'm saying? Anything might happen that may sway me from it. But just know if you're in your heart, in your intuition, if that's what you want to do, keep on going, keep on taking the baby steps, do whatever you need to do to make sure that you are living the life that you want to live. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for those words of encouragement and empowerment. Do you find that your generation, those that are, roughly about your age, do you find that they're on that same parallel of thought in terms of self-love and accountability that you're on?
Honestly, no. Like people in my age range and like in my generation, I don't feel like we had this mindset that love is the answer to all. And if you have love, that means you have will. And if you have will, you can accomplish. That's why I just feel like things that was been passed down, you know, and things that we see in our society aren't really encouraging more people to think like love and think like will. They just I don't really know, but I know while I'm here, I'm gonna just try to help whoever. You know what I'm saying? Whoever I can touch, whoever I could just talk to, whoever I could do anything. With what involves sharing my energies, sharing my knowledge, sharing my passion and my love. That's just what I can do. I really can't control what society has going on, what most of the society has going on, because as much as they don't have it, I don't have it either. Like I had to do this because I wanted more for myself. And so when people want more for themselves, they're going to do whatever they need to do. Not just want it, but who can't sleep without it, who can't live without it, like who and embody it, they're going to do whatever it is. And if that involves spreading more love to others or showing yourself you love yourself more, or just whatever ways, so many different things that can involve people becoming more, I feel like, one, because that's just the goal, to become one within themselves. So if you want within yourself, you want within your career, you want within your spirituality, your mentality, you want with everything if you're one. I just feel like when people get that feeling of, I want this more, then it's going to be more people who become on that route. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Goddess Emajah. So beautiful. Let's move into the territory with Valentine's Day coming up around the corner. Kind of having that love in the air. So let's go into love, into words in your poetry. So set us up with this divine romantic love. How do you define it? What is it? And then we'll listen to your poem.
Okay, wonderful. So divine love is, and it sounds like when I said divine, it sounds like I said define, but I said divine. Divine love is to me, it's just the love that feels, I don't even, because it's not really a word that explains divine love. If a love that makes you feel like you are being your best self, you're helping somebody else be their best self, and it is bringing you closer to the source, then that's divine love. Divine love fights sometimes, but doesn't hurt. Like you have arguments, but you don't try to hit each other. You don't call each other names. You be respectful and just express your feelings. And sometimes expressing your feelings get ugly. But divine love knows that if I love you, then we can get through it. It's just the ability to get through it. And if you love somebody divinely, you wouldn't do anything on purpose to hurt them. So not cheating and being faithful, those are all things that come with true divine real love. And if you're not having that, it might just be love, but probably not the right kind of love. because when you're with somebody and the connection, it hits, you know it's a connection, you know, and you know that you wouldn't do anything on purpose to hurt the other, hurt your partner, or hurt anybody that your partner loves or that you stand for, and have the strength to do that for yourself too.
Yes.
So yeah.
And what is the name of the poem? And can we go ahead and dive into it?
Yeah, so the poem is called Real Love. Real love. Okay.
Real love.
Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I never felt a love that felt so pure. You know, the type of love that when you get stuck in the rain and you don't care if your hair gets wet, because you know you and your man about to Netflix and chill. Or you know, the type of love that when y'all haven't seen each other for what, 3 days? And as you run to hug him, he lifts you off like sweet levitation. See, it takes more than a regular fling to enlighten me on the frequencies that we do not see, we only feel. And see, what's funny is that love touched us on our feet and we became one. And as we walked onto the original roots of our ancestors, and as we intertwined our spine with the green soft layers that arise, we flourished. Inhale with me, exhale with me, make love with me. Because your love makes me feel like a hot glass of ginger tea with chamomile. And as we conversate, I feel our spirits come to celebrate us. And as we meditate and contemplate over the fresh fill of ganja taste, we innovate, we recreate. Because your love makes me feel like I'm in a physical heaven, lost in the stars, those in the days. But I'm aware, and this feels true. So now I can say, I felt the love so pure before. Thank you.
That was so beautiful. I love that. And so, and I love how you brought it to life as well. You know, you had it already written, but yet you also added some of that like spontaneity and really like engaging aspect to it. And it covers so much territory, Goddess Emajah. Like I was thinking, oh yeah, like real love, you know, but you bring in this like heavenly, the spirit, all the senses, things that we, you know, experience, you know, and you know, at the physical level of our life here, but you also brought in that divine qualities, like divine romantic relationships.
Yes.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad that you liked it.
Yeah, yeah. So when you wrote that, you were tapping into your experiences of love. Now, were you bringing it a step further of things that you want to experience, or was that purely kind of bringing in your experience and, you know, bringing it to, you know, a higher level of thought? What kind of like, you know, was going on when you were writing that? If you can tap us into that.
So, yes, those were all experiences that I had experienced. You know, I feel like, yeah, those are experiences that I experienced. And I, instead of just writing it down, because I probably rewrote this poem like 4 or 5 times. And each time I just try to get deeper into thought, because when it comes to poetry, it's not just about, you know, telling people how you experience something. It's about having them experience it themselves. So I word my poems in a way as they're all me. They're all stuff that I've experienced, but I want to put the viewers and I want to put the listeners in a place where as though they feel it, where as though like they're in it. So I try to get depth, and so people can imagine it in their head, you know. So that's what this poem came about. It honestly, it took took me about 3 days. It took me 3 days to write this poem, and I rewrote it a few times because when I normally like I write it down like, okay, this is where I think, okay, this is how love made me feel. Okay, what when I think about love, what do I think of? Who do I think of? You know, and I just do like a in my head kind of brainstorming thing, and I just start write something. Then I'll probably say it a few times, and if it doesn't work, I'll be like, you know what? I don't think I like this beginning. Let me make the middle the beginning, and then switch it up somehow, some way. So that's how it comes apart, you know. I just take the experiences and try to just elaborate and elongate them.
Mhm. And that gives us a lot of insight, Goddess Emajah, into your creative process and how you approach your poetry as well. And I love that you also take into account, yes, your experiences, but you want it to be relatable. You want to, when you express it, you want the listener, the viewer to also be able to, relate to it as well. So you're also taking them into account.
Yes, exactly. Because, you know, before you have anything, you have to have the seed, and you have to have the seed of thought. Before anything is created, you have to have the seed of thought. So maybe it might be someone that might be wanting to experience real divine love. And maybe my words could help them create that seed of whatever it is that they want. They love to look at, or feel like, you know, they have that seed which plants and which grooms and blows. I mean, blooms, that's what to say. But so that's really what it's about. Creating positive manifestations with all of my poetry. It's never just dark. You know, I might have some poetry where it gets deep, but you always going to see the light at the end of the tunnel, because that's how it is in real life. It's never just all one way. It's about how you deciding to see it, you know. So it doesn't it doesn't really matter what you go through. It doesn't matter what you've experienced. The fact is, if you want better, it's there. You just gotta go to it and be willing to expand. You know what I'm saying? And not only be expand, but willing to just accept the light. You know, people be surprised or just think that, oh no, I ain't never going to find a good man, or I ain't never going to find a good woman. That's because you're saying that. You know, change how you say, change the way you think, and everything will come to you. Like everything will come to you like a magnet, really. So, you know, I just want to be a positive seed of inspiration for people.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You definitely are. And you're also taking that accountability, and also, looking at the self and changing within what needs to be, through your poetry. You're actually, really living it. And as you said, that was so beautiful. You want to plant that seed, that stirring of their own divinity, their own self-love, their own awakening through your poetry.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, hopefully people be able to understand, you know, because when I express these words and I'm saying them, these are my words, but I'm not saying them for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying them because I feel like somebody in this world might really could take something from this that's bigger than anything that we could create, and turn something into the start of their life, you know, the start of their dream chasing reality, you know, because that's what it's all about. It's about being able to see the messages, to be able to, you know, be able to look the in between the lines to see, oh snap, okay, what she got? She got faith. What she got? She got hope. You know, if you want to find love, you got to have faith, and you got to have hope that it'll come to you. And you can't contradict those emotions quickly with feeling that nobody is good enough for you, or that you'll never find anything, you know?
Mhm. So many great points that you're bringing up. And it's just so beautiful how it's all expressed in the form of your poetry. I'm wondering, did you go through like an evolution through your poetry, even though you're still young, but through the course of your writings, did you go through an evolution, Goddess Emajah, where at some point maybe there was more of an emphasis on healing? So maybe some of the poetry may have been a little bit darker. Yes, you still presented the light, and like where it actually evolved to the point where it is now. And of course, it'll keep evolving, but so that it's at the point now where it's like you want to plant these seeds and others. There's all these strong positive messages coming through, and you want others to take. You want it like it's you want to take others on the wings of flying and in this freedom and this openness and awareness of truth and love and light, and you want to take everyone with you. But did it evolve to this point that it is now, where before maybe your writing and your poetry was a little bit different?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, my poetry evolved because I just feel like the depth that I'm able to give is just not where I was at. And not only the depth, I feel like what changed was my perspective with a lot of situations. I'm able to look at things differently than how I looked at when I was 10 years old, 11 years old, around young, and able to fully express how I look at it, how I feel about the situation. And I feel like me being able to question some things, me being able to just love things, me being able to look things from a bigger perspective, it helped me express that through my writing, and now I used to want to have everybody on my wings and come on, y'all, I'm gonna carry y'all. We gonna go. You know what I'm saying? And now that's not what it at for me. That's not where it's at. I can't carry nobody, but what I can do is be the best me and hope that you see me being the best me, you'll be the best you, and we can be the best together, because I can't, I was born alone. You know what I'm saying? And when I pass on, I may go alone. And when I sleep, it's me in my dreams and my eyes. And I realized I was a burden trying to carry other people's stresses, trying to carry other people's fears, because they wasn't trying to go after. So I'm trying to go after everything for everybody and burned out, So I had to say, okay, how important am I? And if I'm important, I'm going to take care of myself. And people are going to see, and they're going to take care of themselves as well. And when I can give a hand, when I can give anything, I will give. But if you doing what you doing, I'm only, you know what I'm saying? I'm only doing me. I'm not doing more. I'm not doing more than what I can do. So if you doing the best you can do over there, then we going to both make it together. You don't got to look at me because things that I may do may not be progressive for you. You might just sleep on it and be like, this is what she did. This is all she did. You know what I'm saying? It was big for me. For you, you might need something else, So that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's beautifully explained, and I so appreciate that. So it's really going back again, to self-love and really living as an example or representation or representing all the qualities that you feel are of the light, of love, and sharing that with others so they can also, experience that themselves. But it also sounds like creating healthy boundaries as well.
Definitely. Creating healthy boundaries is a must for you to succeed, and not just succeed, flourish. You have to set boundaries because people, when you are useful to somebody, they don't even realize how much they're using you. And what I learned was not just that they're using you, is don't have to be with no malicious intent. It could be genuine. You know what I'm saying? It could just be pure. You just have something that they may need, but because you haven't put the boundaries on yourself when enough is enough, they just continue to take from you. And it's not nobody's place to tell you what you should give and what you should get in. So it's only up to, yourself of saying, what are you going to allow people to do? And what are you going to allow yourself to accept and to let go? And I feel like when you stop holding on to that responsibility of other people, it gives you more space to mess up, because then you know that, okay, I have to get through it. This right here is like, it's a more mental battle. You know what I'm saying? As opposed of me trying to take everybody. Now I know, oh snap, if I fall, the whole flock fall. And I don't want it to be like a domino piece. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are good. You be good. You be strong and hold a strong foundation within yourself so that you won't be affected if somebody else fall, and that is just very important. When you set boundaries for yourself, you're able to make stuff happen for yourself. You're able to make yourself proud. And it's not about nothing if you're out here making the brightest smiles on people's face, but when you go back home, you're depressed or you're sad, from feeling like you're insufficient, like you haven't done enough. But truth, you've done more than you could have imagined, but you don't see that because you're not doing it just for yourself, And what I realize is, with a lot of things that I have going on has to do with the community, me uplifting the community, but it's some things that I have to do for myself that is going to keep me high so that I can transmute that high energy to the community and to other people.
Beautiful. I love that. Goddess Emajah, let's go ahead and move into another one of your poems. Tell us what the title is and what it's about, and if you could read it for us.
All right. So this one is called Goddess Energy. And I figured, why not create a poem about me feeling like I am divine? Because I feel like I've been creating this social barrier inside of my head, or this limitation that I can't express myself, or that people are going to hate me for winning. And I use this poem as a way of telling me that it doesn't really matter what other people think. This is how I look at myself in the mirror. And if this is who I want to be, I have to embody that, whether somebody likes it or not. If it's what I want, then let me express it to the most. Let me express it to prove to myself that I'm capable of achieving it, and that's what it's mainly about, proving to myself that I can be this no matter what anybody else thinks, because that's what I am. I want to be. So yeah, it's called Goddess Energy. Okay, so are you ready to hear it?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Goddess Energy. Goddess Energy. GODDESS. ENERGY. Goddess Energy. It's the goddess energy that I embody. It's the goddess energy that I inspire. It's the goddess energy that I desire. And it's the goddess energy that I admire. Take behold of what you see before your eyes, because a goddess don't gotta finesse. A goddess don't gotta say less unless she chooses. And you see, a goddess can walk oh so smooth, and it's because the earth is her heart's place and the ground is her blood. We are goddess, another word for God force. We put the fee in female. We put the hot sauce in our handbag, and we keep the main goal in mind. And we know we never have to fear, because we got our army behind us and our man beside us. You see, I am a goddess. Yes, sister, you are a goddess. It's time that You define, Goddess. Reap the beauties that born with you. Live the life according to your fears. Walk in your beauty, sister. It's time you walk in your power. It's time you walk in your sexuality. And it's time that you walk in your womanhood. It's time that you be who you claim to be. It's time that you embrace who you were destined to be. It's time that you be you. Because if you don't, you're going to miss out on one hell of a ride. And it's called the Goddess Energy. Thank you.
I have to tell you, that was so powerful. I got tingles.
Oh, yes, I love it. I'm so glad. Yes, because it is true.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we are strong, powerful women. As a woman, we birth onto this earth. You know, we take our power back. We need to take our power back. Ever since the beginnings of time, okay, it's always been men looked at over women. And I feel like, you know, for a women, like we said, we had a conversation earlier about, society and stuff with the mindset, is because women don't look at themselves as being high value, just say, oh, I'm just me, but don't know who you are, don't know the depth of where you come from, can't really stand from the things that hindered you. I feel like if women were just reminded of how powerful they are, reminded of where they came from, just reminded of just you being you is power enough. You know what I'm saying? You having the woman, feminine looks, things that only women have, that means that you are special. So find your specialty, find your divinity, and embrace that, because that's what we was gifted on. We came here when we was born, and oh my God, you're a girl. We was blessed with a duty to recreate. And it's not easy to recreate. It takes time. It takes 9 months to a baby to form. And then while it's forming, you can't just wait for the baby to form. You got to make sure in real life that it's ready and prepared for the new beautiful baby to come, So I feel like we need to remind each other, remind our sisters of the power of who they represent. And women is going to just get powerful, more powerful. Women are just going to be walking in their power. You're going to be seeing it. You're going to be feeling the energy, because energy is, you can't see it, but you can feel it when you walk past somebody, and you can feel when somebody is aware of themselves and knows their value versus somebody who may not.
Yeah. I love your awakening and sharing your knowledge and your alignment with the goddess, and helping, women to, recognize this deep power of who they are, and just being authentic, and just knowing who they are is enough. And
yes,
beautiful messages of empowerment that you shared with us are just absolutely beautiful. And just kind of going back full circle to the beginning of the interview, you are actually living the embodiment and embracing the divine feminine. I mean, it's very evident that you're really, walking the walk, and that, your passion and your love and these beautiful messages are really just very soothing and stimulating, and I think awakening is just the best word. And I love how established you are in your purpose, and that you're aware of it, and that you know it, and that you're just doing it. And I just think you're such a great force for all of this goddess energy and this whole beauty, and really opening the mind and opening the heart to all that we are. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I can't say how much I appreciate those words, because, I just, when you are something and you don't get kudos for it, you don't realize what it is, that how far you came, you know? And for somebody to say, wow, I can see, you know, I can see it, it's like makes me feel like now I'm truly living it, you know? And back to what you said, my favorite word that stood out was embodiment. That is powerful because it's not, right now we live in a time of the computers and social media. But when you just portray this one idea on social media, and then when you come home and that's not it, you're gonna be able to tell. And you're not gonna feel like, yeah, this is really me. You know what I'm saying? You just feel like this is who you're portraying to be. And it feels so much better on the inside knowing that you are being honest with yourself on your journey. Because I could say too, even for the viewers, like, I have a lot to grow. I have a lot more to flourish and to become. But because I'm here today and I'm just being my best, that's the best that I can be. And that's the best that you can be. And when you put your all into something and you go for it, okay, like that's the face I gotta make, you know, when you put your all into something, because the world just gonna come, it's gonna come to you, it's gonna gravitate. Like abundance is just gonna be attracted to you when you become the energy truly, not just when you portray something. Because I had small businesses on Instagram when I was younger, and I would make it seem like, okay, yep, I'm busy, woo 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 woo. And now I've dropped it all because I knew in real life I wasn't making no progress. So I couldn't even go. It wasn't easy for me to go hard because I'm like, I'm not even making no real progress. I'm just portraying something. Then when I let all those expectations go, I let all just, that's what it is, social media expectations. When I let that all go and I just said, let me just try to help people with where I'm at. Let me just try to go after my dreams with everything that I have with me, and we're going to see how far it'll take me. And I feel like after that, I also learned, back to what you said about your resources, is that not only are we all that we need, but literally we are more than what we need to go out and get whatever it is. If you have a mind, you can create something out of nothing. And that is true wisdom. When you're able to go out and live everything that you want to live without not full accessible, like without somebody having to open a door, you creating the door because this is how bad you want it. And I feel like that's what it's about. Recognize that you don't, if you want to start a podcast, you don't need to go out and buy your microphone. Just go out and start it. Just do some research, start it. If you want to be an actor, you don't got to go ahead and buy classes with money that you don't have. Just try to pretend like you an actor on some movie and just imitate. Make whatever you have and go all out. Because then when you are able to have comfort, and when you are able to be, I guess, what's the word, to just thrive in what you have, then God will give you more and say, okay, let me see what you do with this, because you was content. If you could be content now with what you have, then you'll be content later. But if you're always saying, oh, I got to get this, I got to get that, you're going to get it. And then once you get it, you're going to say, oh, I got to get this, I got to get that. And it's never going to stop, you know?
Mm-hmm. You have such great wisdom, and I'm so grateful for you being our guest
Thank you.
on Art and Talk, and such a dynamic speaker, and living in your truth and in your authenticity, and really inspiring and encouraging us to really open our eyes, open our mind, be self-directed. All these wonderful areas of empowerment, of the goddess, of knowing that we are all that we need to be, and just really going for it and taking that accountability, which is so beautiful. We do need to wrap up the show, Goddess Emajah.
Oh, I loved it. I could talk forever, but I definitely understand. And we have to respect each other's time. So that's okay. I will see you guys next time then.
Before we close out, Goddess Emajah, let us know how viewers can stay connected with you through your social media and whatnot.
Yeah, so of course, so right now, the only social media outlet I have right now is Instagram. And when I further my brand, I will be across more. But for right now, you could just follow me on Instagram at Goddess Emajah. So one more time, just follow me up on the search bar, Instagram at Goddess Emajah.
Very good. Thank you so much again, Goddess Emajah. Stay connected with us. Let us know of new developments that are going on. This has been such an inspiring and expanding discussion, conversation, energy exchange, however you want to look at it.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Much success to you in your writing, your poetry. I know you do speaking and anything you do on a level of entrepreneur. Much success to you. And thank you again for being our guest today on Art and Talk.
Thank you so much, Art and Talk, for having me. It was a wonderful experience. You have been great. I love your energy. I love you. So I'm spreading my love onto you. Thank you again for allowing me to have a platform here on your show.
Oh, absolutely. And I love you too. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for watching Art and Talk today. Stay connected with us on social media. Please like and follow us on Facebook, and you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate your support. Thank you for taking the time to watch our artist videos and draw inspiration from them. And we'll talk soon on the next Art and Talk. Until then, be well and be blessed.